You can consult him. He will be a reliable consultant. He's a good advisory. But don't expect him to come and talk to you in personage. He won't come in flesh and blood. But he will give you right advice either directly or indirectly. Directly means, say, in dreams or in intuitions. Indirectly means through people, through friends, people who can advise. That will be right advice. You rely on him. So whenever you are faced with conflicts of thoughts, decisions, you completely give up everything to him, and you are definitely to get a good solution, a good guidance. So Krishna is a good guide also. If you have read these Tamil poems by Subramania Bharatiyar, Bharatiyar looks at Krishna as his lady love, as his lover, as his servant, as his teacher, as his friend, as everybody. So you can take Krishna in confidence. It is for that I wrote this sloka for you. Then comes an important sloka. How to find out that you are a sattvic personality? Sattvic means a religious, a person who is more inclined towards spiritual things than worldly things. How to find out? In the sloka 11th sloka of chapter 14, you find Sarvadvareshu dehe asmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyat vivriddham sattvam ityuta. That is, all the 5 indriyas will shine with the sattvic quality. Now how to understand this? How are you going to make out that your eyes are sattvic, your ears are sattvic, your nose is sattvic, your tongue is sattvic? How are you going to decide? For that, Mr. Kailash made a reference to my website, in which every Sunday I post a question in expectation of replies from people all over the world. People respond to me, rightly or wrongly. Ultimately, I give the right answer. Now, the latest question answer which is on the run in my website is this. My question was this: is there any meter to measure how sattvic you are? Just as a thermometer or a barometer, is there any guna meter? That was my question. And many people from California, from Russia, from Japan, they had responded. I read out those answers also. Ultimately, I gave my guna meter. And that guna meter is nothing but a questionnaire. It contains 25 questions. Now I am going to read out those questions. You follow them. For each question to which you are able to answer in the affirmative, that is, if you say yes, you can give 4 marks. If you give yes to all the 25 questions, that means you are getting 100 marks. That means you are already a Mahan. You are a Jivan Mukta. You are a very great soul. My salutation to you. If it is going to be 95 or 90, very encouraging. You are a sattvic person, salvation is waiting for you. You can try for it. If the score is 80, 85, well, there is nothing to lose heart. You are a sattvic person, but you must work hard, a little more. If it ranks as 75 or 65, there is the sattvic element in you dormant, but you have to wake it up. You have to work for it. If the mark goes below 60, you are gone case. You please take care of it. Now I am going to read out those questions very slowly. Please follow them. Number 1. Can you live without entertainments of social movies, dramas and TV serials? I don't want to expose you. You answer to yourself. You need not give your answer to me. Nobody has to come to the public to answer. You answer to yourself and keep counting. Number 2. Can you restrain yourself to traditional way of dressing? Fashions change. Once in 5 years, fashions keep changing. What was fashion during Sean Connery's time has become fashion once again now. So once in 30 years, fashions repeat. And there are tailors who are very fond of making these fashions popular. If you go to these clothes shops, you can find cinema actors dressed up in the latest fashion. And there are people who are very mad after fashions. Now my question is, can you restrain yourself to traditional form of dressing, traditional way of dressing? I don't want you to get dressed up like Mahatma Gandhi with one towel here and one towel there. Not that extremity. But to a certain extent, if anybody looks at you, he is a well-bred, civilized and controlled family, he is from a controlled family. Then, that is the second question. Third one, are you a vegetarian? Are you a vegetarian? The Indian scriptures insist upon the relation between food habits and your character. And the Western religions do not say so. They eat anything, still call themselves pious and devoted. But in India, all scriptures say, depending upon the kind of food, your character is decided. So, vegetarian diet is more sought after by saints of India. Are you a vegetarian? Then the next question is, even in vegetarian diet, are you ready to avoid tamasic items like garlic, onion, intoxicating drinks and forbidden foodstuffs? They say beer is purely vegetarian because it is made from barley. Beer is vegetarian, but it is intoxicant. The same way, garlic and onion, these two things, in ISKCON I have heard that they stop it. Because these two vegetables, they are very good for health, I agree. The medical department says that garlic is very good for BP. Onion cools you down, it reduces heat. But that is the medical side of it, that is the biological side of it. But the spiritual side of it is, when you consume onions and garlics, it dirties your mind. It gives you tamasic radiation. That is why Prabhupada said, at least avoid these two. So, when you read books that you must avoid such tamasic foods, do you obey? That is the next question. Then, fifth question. It is a known fact that India is not as much advanced as the Western countries. In spite of that, would you prefer living in India? You see, India is not as much advanced as the West. Very many people repeat the same hymn. See, the roads are not neat, the houses are not good, the government is not good, men are not good, everything is bad in India, including the latrine. If you go to West, you see, you find very clean latrines, everything is okay. It's a known fact, it is an agreed point. We don't raise a point of controversy in that. But in spite of that, do we have a liking to live in India? Because the main reason is, in the world map, India is the only country which has been mentioned in the Puranas, that it has sattvic soil, sattvic rocks, sattvic rivers, sattvic kind of food. Everything is sattvic about India. Here, even vegetables are more sattvic than the Western vegetables. Nowadays we have come to accept the Western vegetables like cauliflower, radish, and this beetroot and such things. But they are held as Rajasic. Even vegetables which are grown in the West are Rajasic. Even cow's milk which is got in the West is Rajasic. In India, everything is sattvic, including the air you breathe, the rivers which run across the country, the temples, the places. The soil was trodden upon by Sri Rama in search of Sita from Himalayas to Cape Comorin. And Vivekananda himself has walked across the sands of India. India has been the living place of rishis, saints, great souls. 10 incarnations took place only in India, not outside India. So India is a great country, greater than any other country in this world, in this aspect. I read in one book that Vivekananda went to Japan, and while he returned, he was praising Japan like anything. He said Japanese are very brisk, very technologically advanced, even women are enlightened, how brisk they are. So he kept admiring Japanese culture. Then one disciple asked him, Swamiji, would you like our India become Japan? Then immediately he shot out, no, never, never, never. India must be always India. India must never become a Japan. I was talking in praise of Japan because of the technological side. But India has always been a spiritual country. A spiritual country will definitely have material drawbacks. A man who is very spiritual is bound to be lagging behind in material advancements. So India must be India. India must not ape any other country, he said. When he went around the globe and returned, when he set his foot in Colombo, the first lecture runs this way. He says, before I went to the West, I was thinking that India is better than other countries. But after my global visit, now I don't think, but I have come to a conviction that India is the best country in the whole world. So after seeing all the technological, scientific advancements in countries like America, Britain, Japan, etc., he was still in the conviction that India is better because of this spiritual background. Here there is always a scope for your spiritual emancipation. Here in India, people, even the worst rowdy is sattvic. He is more sattvic than a western rowdy. I would like to say that. I saw in one Telugu movie, two burglars, people who steal others' properties. They come into clash with each other. This fellow tries to steal him, that fellow tries to steal this fellow. What happens is, they come to a contract. They say, we will indulge in a sword fight. Supposing you win, you take mine. If I win, you take mine. In the other, vice versa. So they fight, one man wins, and the other man is bound by his words. He yields everything to him. So even among rowdies we find promises being kept. This is possible only in India. The name of the movie is Rechuka Pagadichuka. Rechuka means night thief. Pagadichuka means day thief. So, if you have a leaning to live in India, you can very boldly say, 4 marks for me. Then the next question comes this way. In the list of books you read, do spiritual books form a major percentage? Everyone reads voraciously. Now, what is the percentage of spiritual books which you choose? Is it 5% or 10%? If it is a major percentage, if it forms a major percentage of 80, then you are a sattvic person. If you are a Tamilian, you can read Tamilian scriptures. If you are a Keralite, you can... Because in India, languages are more than 25, but culture is the same. From Kashmir to Cape Comorin, Rama is worshipped by every state. Whether you are a Malayali or a Karnataka or Telugu, everyone worships Rama. The one word which is understood by every Indian, regardless of his caste or creed, is Rama. And recent census has brought out the fact that it is this word which is being uttered for more number of times than any other word in India. If you go to north, instead of wishing each other by good morning, they say Jai Ramji or Radhe Krishna. Like that they wish each other. So, culture-wise speaking, if you have an aptitude for spiritual reading, Ramayana is available in all languages. There are 32 Ramayanas in India. In Telugu we find Mulla Ramayana, In Malayalam we find a Ramayana, in Karnataka we find a Ramayana, Tulsi Ramayana is there in India.